Welcome everyone to this new video. Today I'm taking you through a game played between Adolf Hitler and Vladimir Lenin, played in Vienna in 1909. But before we get into the video, please like and subscribe. As always, I left the link to my Twitch channel in the comments. But having said that, let's get started. So, you have heard that right. This game was probably played in Vienna between Hitler and Lenin, who was at the time in exile, and the game was probably played in 1909. However, many people doubt that this game has ever happened. So I'm going to tell you the story, and you're gonna decide by yourself if you want to believe this to be true. So the game is said to have taken place in Vienna in 1909. We know that because there is a picture, a painting of Hitler painting teacher Emma Löwenschramm, which pictured the game, and there is an image which shows the two players in front of a chessboard thinking. And the story goes that the game was played in a Jewish family's home, and after they were forced to flee before World War II, they left all their belongings to the housekeepers. And now, some years ago, his great great grandson tried to sell this painting, and he said that his father worked all his life to prove that the painting is actually historically accurate, and many historians believe it, and some others don't. And so, having said that, let's look at the moves. All right, Lenin is playing with white pieces, and Hitler is playing with black pieces. Game starts with e4. This is standard move. And now here, black plays the move a6. a6 might seem like a dumb move. However, this is called the St. George defense. And the idea is to play b5 and bishop b7. And it's actually not so stupid as it might seem. Here, Lenin plays d4 and black goes b5 with the idea of putting the bishop on b7, delaying putting a pawn in the center to gain central control. However, the bishop on b7 will be very strong and will pose some threats. All right, here white goes knight f3, developing the pieces and adding pressure to the center. And we got e6, maybe trying to play d5, maybe just trying to stop white's pawn from advancing. And here we got bishop d3, developing yet another pieces. And now it's time for black to put pressure in the center, either with the move d5 or c5. And here black plays move c5, which adds a layer of pressure in the center. And white has to decide whether to protect the pawn or to exchange it. And here Lenin decides to exchange it with d takes c5. We got bishop takes c5, and here white castles. So white is playing very principled chess. He developed the knight, the bishop, he gained central control, and then he castled. On the other hand, black is playing in a less orthodox way, trying to gain central control by putting pieces on the sides, for example with bishop b7. However, this isn't so bad as it might seem, because the bishops are very strong. The knight is gonna go on f6. In the future, you're gonna play d5 maybe, and the knight is gonna go on c6, and black can have a good position actually. After queen e2, Hitler plays queen b6. Queen b6 is not the most accurate move because the queen is kind of misplaced on b6. You would rather have it on c7 maybe, but otherwise just play d6 to prevent knight e5, or maybe some knight f6. In this position, d6 is probably the best move because you prevent e5, you prevent knight e5, you gain central control. You're gonna play knight e6, knight f6, and castle. Queen b6 I don't like because the f2 pawn is really well protected, and the queen on b6 can just be a target. In fact, in this position, white plays the move a4, very principled, striking, the structure on the queen side. And now black has to decide whether to take it or push it. Probably the best thing to do is to close the queen side so that white cannot create any counterplay over here. However, black takes. And this is not the most accurate way to play, because here white has a really nice move, knight c3, trying to go knight e4, knight a4, and this is just a fork, and you're gonna take the bishop. Here black plays a3, trying to give up this pawn back. However, this allows white to go knight a4, and knight a4 is a really good move because you're gonna move the queen and then you're gonna take the bishop, and you're gonna play maybe bishop here, and position is gonna be really good. However, this doesn't happen because white decides to take this pawn. This is not the most accurate move, and however, it opens up the b file, and this is gonna be a problem. So black decides to move the queen out of danger preemptively with queen a5. Maybe it was better to go to c7 because on this square the queen is more active. It puts more pressure than on a5. Here we got bishop b2. Also not the best move. The bishop wanted to develop maybe to f4 or to g5. However, this is not a great mistake. We got knight f6. All right, in this position, knight f6 is not a great move because it can just be kicked out with move e5, and this really shows why you needed to play d6. d6 was a move that was necessary because in this position e5 is just crashing with move, and now the knight is forced to move, and after the exchange, these bishops are kind of misplaced because all these squares are unguarded, the pawns are not defended, and white can just attack them with a move like knight to g5, which gets played. And here, after queen d8, trying to add a defender to this position, we got queen g4, which is the best move because it adds pressure to the weaknesses of black's position. And after white plays h5, trying to lash out, white goes back, and after h4 it goes back to g4. This is not the most accurate way to play for black. It was better to just go g6 in this position, because now if you move the knight, the queen cannot take on g7. However, if you do this and now you play g6 as it was playing in the game, now there is a beautiful tactic. Pause the video if you want so you can see if you can find it. I'm gonna give you the move right now. The move is knight to f7. After knight to f7, this is a fork, and if king takes f7, it is mate in 8 after bishop takes g6. Because after the king slides to g7, we got bishop to h5, and here there is mate in 3 with queen to f4, king to g7, queen to f7, and after black plays king to h6, we got queen g6 mate, and in this position Hitler resigned the game. So I hope you like this game. As always, you can document yourself to see if you want to believe this game was actually played and was played between these two guys. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.